pulling. Before you pull, split your raid into two groups for Phase 2. Group A goes left, while Group B will be going right. We'll talk about this in more detail later. In this fight, you'll be balancing your sanity, which can be found here. If your sanity drops below 0, your damage and healing spells will be increased by 100% for 20 seconds, after which you'll be mind controlled for the rest of the fight. Standing next to Rathian restores your sanity, but he's pretty far away, so there's this extra action ability that ports you directly to him instantly. In Phase 1, the tanks will start by pulling the Fury of Nzoth. The tank mechanic is Mandible Slam, which is a big hit followed by a stacking debuff. Just taunt swap when the previous debuff falls off. When the Gaze of Madness spawns, tanks will drag the boss on top of it and DPS will switch to the Gaze to kill it quickly. The Gaze of Madness casts Breed of Madness, which is an interruptible channel that does big damage every second for 12 seconds to a single player. This should only be interrupted if the person targeted is in jeopardy of dying, but this should be healed through easily. Killing a Gaze of Madness instantly damages the boss for a massive 3% of its total health. The Fury of Nzoth will cast Madness Bomb on a few players. These players need to get away from anyone else as the bomb explodes for a ton of damage and sanity loss. The boss will sometimes cast Adaptive Membrane to an enemy that shields them from damage, crowd control, or interrupts. If the shield is broken within 12 seconds, all damage done to the shield is inflicted to the target and drops some sanity fragments that refreshes the sanity of any raider who picks them up. Every once in a while, a giant tentacle will slam down, dealing lethal damage to anyone caught in the slam. You can tell where it's slamming by the shadow that's on the ground. This giant tentacle spawns a bunch of little adds as well as some nasty looking hemorrhages on its surface. The tanks are going to drag the Fury of Nzoth on top of the little adds so that the melee can cleave them down, while the range takes care of the hemorrhages that are on top of the surface of the tentacle. The little adds deal less damage every time they're meleeed, while the hemorrhages do big damage to anyone in 5 yards, so this makes sense. When all of the hemorrhages are killed, the boss suffers 1% total HP loss. You'll be repeating this until the Fury of Nzoth reaches 50% HP, which starts Phase 2. Remember to use your extra action ability or even slowly walk to Rathian if your sanity gets too low. When Phase 2 starts, the Fury of Nzoth will run away. Finish off any leftover little adds and wait for Rathian to clear a path with his Breath of Fire. Follow the path, and when you get into the room, you'll want to split the raid in half, Group A going left and Group B going right. The main focus of splitting the groups is to kill the big growths on the wall one at a time before they heal the boss too much. You'll need to AoE the little cysts on the ground so you can walk through, but they don't die, so there's no need to focus them. After you cleared all of the growths on both walls, the raid jumps down and basically does Phase 1 again without the giant tentacle slam. The only new ability to worry about is the Conal Blast that needs to be dodged. Getting hit by this will most likely kill you or drain the rest of your sanity. This phase ends at 40%, so it's super important that everyone in the raid uses their extra action ability or slowly walks to Rathian before 40% to regenerate all of your sanity back. Rathian won't be available in Phase 3, so this is crucial. Phase 3 is basically Phase 1, but with some minor changes. The Mind Bomb is now Insanity Bomb, which is the same, but it fears for 12 seconds and summons a little ad. These little ads can either be dragged on top of the boss and killed, or keep them away from the boss to take advantage of the other changes, which is the shield that the boss puts on the enemy targets. He now puts the shield on every enemy target, which is good if you have the DPS to kill him before it expires. Doing this will get you a ton of those orbs that refresh your sanity. The giant tentacles are back, but they no longer do anything but the slam. However, they are harder to see, so calling this out might save some lives. And last but not least, there's this unavoidable spell called Infinite Darkness that does a ton of damage and sanity drain and also leaves a circle on the ground that needs to be avoided. And that's the fight. Thanks for watching. If you like these guides, you can support us on Patreon, which helps us a ton, and you can find more videos at the Ready Check Pull YouTube channel.